Hey there, it's Quinn with PTSD While Black. And today I am just showing you the example of what hit me on my head that caused my concussion. I've had a few people message me, so let's take a look at this video.
I'm like, why? Oh, shit.
Did you pour it on the rabbit?
Yeah.
We're watering the rabbit. You're putting it in its dish, not on the rabbit.
Oh, okay.
That's what hit me on the head. That one. Yeah.
Are you recording that?
Yeah.
That's about 150, maybe 50-pound piece of wood, maybe 100, I don't know.
I thought it was 10, I don't know.
Well, it feels a lot more than 10. This is like 40, 50 pounds, I think. In total.
Okay, so this video was shot on November 30th, 2016, just roughly a week after I had initially had the concussion. What my husband is explaining in the video is that the piece of wood that hit me on the head was about 40 to 50 pounds, and I had thought I should be able to walk it off. What makes this more challenging is that this is a secondary concussion because my first concussion was when we were in the car accident a year before, and I had already had injuries to my neck and shoulders from whiplash and jarring of my brain moving back and forth. Now there is this impact concussion that I was going through. So for my brain injury support groups, that kind of explains why had such a severe response with seizure-like episodes and the stuttering and memory loss, and why it's taken 6 years just to get to where I am today, or at least being able to accept where I am and doing the best that I can going forward. And I really have to say I'm doing pretty good, except for the glare of my glasses confuses me a lot. Um, I'm doing pretty well. The seizure-like episodes are not as intense as they were. I still have migraines that last 3 to 4 days. Initially, they were 6 days long, so I'll take it, I'll take it, but I'm also learning how to take better care of myself when I have migraines, and so having an action plan based upon whatever my symptoms are gives me, awareness of what I can do next. I work best with being able to read something and go, "Okay, in the moment I'm confused or afraid, this is what I can do." And the faster that I'm able to address it, the less severe the symptoms are. Whereas in the onset, I had people denying that anything was happening to me and telling me just to shake it off or just to get over it. And I'm like, why can't I get over it? I don't understand. Well, if you've ever had a concussion, God, I hope you never do. Um, it's going to do what it's going to do. And it causes confusion and really huge disorientation to where you don't know yourself. Um, and I'm so grateful for someone telling me about BICAL, which is the Brain Injury of California, and they have a listing of um, support groups that are available in your area. Um, they have some tips and just things that normalize what our experiences are like, and it really helps, because whereas everybody else who does not have a brain injury, they kinda don't get why you can't follow along. They don't understand why, pain may be prolonged, or why you freak out when you're in very large spaces, like Home Depot. Hell no, that store is way too big. I can't focus, and I get confused and upset. Um, n People without a brain injury don't understand what you're going through. Um, and it's why it's a really an invisible experience, an invisible wound, an invisible injury. Um, and people don't understand why you need to repeat things again and again. People are saying on my channel or commenting something like, "Oh, see, you're repeating yourself, so that means you must not believe what you're saying is true." I'm like, "Nah, bitch, I can't remember if I said that." So here we go. I might tell the same story 1,001 times, but that's what my reality is. Um, And I'm glad that the world does not have to accept what I'm going through, But I have to accept what I'm going through. I have to create the boundaries that I need. I have to create the support that I need. And I have to protect myself and the rest of the world that doesn't get it. Um, and I have to correct people and say, you know what? I need this to be a little bit quieter, or I need clearer directions, or could you please repeat yourself? Or I'm going to ask you to repeat yourself several times because I will most likely forget, or I will be taking notes during this conversation so that I can hopefully remember what's going on. Or I'm going to be recording this conversation so that I can remember the instructions that you're giving me. It's we do whatever we need to by any means necessary and whatever it takes so that we can be able to function in this world. That's what I have really learned from my brain injury. Pretending like everything's okay does not work. It's like you couldn't pretend that your arm wasn't broken if your arm was broken. You couldn't pretend to make it better. No, that's not going to work. We have to address that, okay, there's an issue. So I'm not going to be able to do some things the way that I used to. And it's going to take the time that it takes to heal. And sometimes it takes years for brain injuries to heal. A lot of the people in my support groups, some of them have had their injuries over 10 years ago. Some were way more severe than mine. Um, and I recognize that I have brain injury privilege because, oh, mine was just a piece of wood hitting me on the head. It wasn't somebody throwing a rock at me or getting hit by a car or drunk driving. A lot of the brain injuries are drunk driving. In fact, the brain injury support group, when I told them my story and how I got injured, they're like, Quinn, just say you were in a bar fight. That's more believable. Don't say that you got hurt playing with a rabbit. Yeah. But it's good that there are resources available so that we can support one another, and I'll be sure to put some links to some of the support group information that I found helpful because they can help just people who've lived through this experience can tell you, yeah, your taste buds are going to be off. And a lot of us, we can't taste food, and the only flavor we recognize is crunchy or spicy. Um, so we don't know that we're eating burnt food, for example. It's like other people can normalize your experience. They can normalize what your reality is, and you do not have to suffer needlessly. Um, so yeah, that's my brain injury. That's how I got it. And I'm living with it day by day. Before my injury, I was doing public speaking and in Toastmasters competitions. I was working for banks, doing merchant banking processing. So I was helping to clients with their statements. I worked in credit services. I can't do numbers anymore. I have trouble reading. I have dyslexia now. And so I'm just having to adjust that my reality has changed. So instead, it's like, can I do creative arts? Can I do voice acting instead? That's kind of where I'm wanting to work with my brain injury to do what I can to support myself. Um, Sadly, the people who initiated the gang stalking see that because I'm somebody with a brain injury who may be quick to have a quick emotional response, they get a kick out of harassing me. They're trying to stop me from being able to do voice acting, which is really stupid. um, they've tried to hack my PayPal account so that I couldn't get donations or to do invoicing with clients for balloon art and things of that nature. So it's really it's harassment is really what it is, discrimination and harassment. Um, but I'm determined to thrive and to do the best that I can regardless of what anyone else does or what anyone else says. But I'm hoping that me sharing my experience cuz I have privilege with my brain injury may help somebody else out there or a family member of someone who's going through a brain injury today, so that you can possibly be able to relate to your loved ones. You got to just be patient with us. We're very different than who we were before the accident, and you too have to evolve in acclimating to who we are now, and you do need to give yourself the permission to grieve too. And a lot of the stuff on the, I can't remember the national brain injury website, but a lot of the brain injury websites, they also do have information for supporters of survivors of brain injuries. So just know that you do not have to go through this alone, and you're going to get fed up with us and not understand why we can't do what we used to do. We can't communicate what we need. But take your time. Be patient. Um Grieve, journal, talk to a friend, because if you take care of yourself, then you can be more available with when your loved one really isn't there for themselves because they're having seizures or they've got memory loss. Um so yeah, I'm hoping that's helpful. I'm so grateful that Fresno does have a brain injury support group, and there's an online support group which I have not gotten to attend. And also to let people know there are even epilepsy support groups that you can attend if your family member is having seizures as a result of their brain injuries. That's what helped me to find out that mine's not quite a seizure, but to get an MRI and they still can't figure out what the hell it is, but to treat the symptoms. Treat the symptoms and do the best that you can. All right. I hope this was helpful for somebody. All right. Till next time. Peace.